Well, hello. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Successful Author Series. I'm so glad that you are here. I am your host and content creator, Latasha L.T. Jimerson. And today I'm going to be interviewing my client, Miss Estelle Nelson. She is going to be talking to you about her upcoming book, her upcoming event, and also her experience with writing her first book. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and allow her to come to the stage and introduce herself. Now, make sure she has a lot of really good lessons inside of her story. So make sure that you do have a pen and a piece of paper so that you can take notes and be prepared to connect with her afterwards, because she has a lot of really good programs happening in her world right now. So without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and bring to the stage Miss Estelle Nelson.
Hi.
What's up, Miss Estelle Nelson? Where you
Hello.
from? What do you do?
Hi. Like you said, my name is Estelle Marie Nelson, and I'm an author and I'm an educator, and I'm a project facilitator and a public speaker, and I'm also an entertainer. Um, and I'm excited to be here today.
Beautiful, beautiful. And now let's talk about that background, because that is the first thing that people are going to see, and it is eye popping. So tell us what you got going on behind you.
Well, what's behind me is the cover and the title of my second published piece of work. This book is a book about my life, about a journey that I experienced a few years ago, and how I'm just so grateful to be brought out of it. And it's also included in there a workbook. So the book is called A Roadmap for Hope and Recovery. And what they are strategies to live life after any type of life-threatening illness, any type of life-threatening experience in your life, any life change. And so they're just living strategies that I've learned along the way and that I'm actually living right now. And God has given me the authority to be able to share with whomever needs it. And I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I'm excited.
Yes. And okay, let's dig a little bit deeper into the early days, Miss Estelle, in the early days, because we see you now with your beautiful smile, your amazing background, and you just look like you always been successful. So give us a little bit of the backstory.
Thank you. Thank you. Well, there is a backstory. There are many backstories, but the most important is the journey that I experienced with my son, my eldest son. And he was a transplant recipient twice. And after his last transplant, he had his first one at 14 and his second one at 21. And at the end of the completion of the transplant and in the recovery part of the, was that the pre-op or something like that, post-op, I'm sorry. We would go back and forth to doctor's appointments, just to make sure that he was doing well and so on and so forth. And this one particular time, which actually was the last time that he had an appointment, he was noticing things prior. And I think I knew it, but I just didn't want to pay attention to it because I was so focused on caring for him, and we had a very, very tight bond. But this last time, I had some really bad episodes and he didn't see them. So I thought, and when I got in his presence, he let me know that he was paying attention. And he made a statement to me that was so profound and so eye-opening. And then he was gone.
Wow.
And in the book, I actually tell the experience. It was shocking. It was it was amazing, and it was the beginning of my life change. And so that's where it began. That's where it began with my son.
Mm.
And I was diagnosed with a life-threatening disease, and I was dealing with the loss of my son. And at the same time, I was just going through a lot of other things that were unexpected, and I didn't know which way to turn.
Wow.
So, yeah, so going through the process, God gave me the insight, which I didn't really understand at the time, but He gave me the insight to begin to journal it. Not just write journal it, but video journal it,
Mhm.
photo journal. He had me journal it in every way possible. The entire journey, 5 years of an entire journey. And so um, I was able to put it all together, put
There
it
you
all together.
go.
Yeah,
There
I
it
was able
is.
to put, I don't know if you can see it good. I was able
Yeah.
to put it all together. And through the process, I was able to write down a series of steps, which I call principles, life principles. And so, in going through my book, and included in my book is a workbook. And the workbook, what I pulled out of this workbook is so amazing, guys. It's so amazing. I'm amazed myself because as I go through the workbook and I do the work myself, I am doing the work myself. And I'm 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 excited. I'm flabbergasted. I'm like, wow, look at this, and I see improvement in myself. So I know that it's going to be absolutely beneficial to everyone who reads this book and everyone who works through this process using these strategies. We're always looking for answers. We're always looking for answers. And I didn't understand the importance when my coach told me. She asked me the question, what problem could you solve for someone else? And I said to her,
Mhm.
what? I can't solve any problems.
Mhm.
You know, but I understand what she means now because I'm solving my own problems.
And before we get
Through,
into the problem, go back
yeah.
to the conversation you had with your son. What were the words that he said? I don't know if you want to read it from the book or if you just talk about it from memory, because that's how the book starts with that
Right.
conversation.
Well, I did highlight a little something, and at the top, I said, my pain had reached its breaking point. The sharp shooting pain in the sole of my foot and stomach intensified so much that I collapsed on the street, tears streaming down my face. At that moment, all I could do was pray. I begged God to grant me the strength to make it across the street to see my son one more time before anything else could happen. So once I got to him, I said, he looked at me with contempt and anger in his face. It took me by surprise because he had been watching for weeks in agony and discomfort. In his concern and urgent tone, he asked, "Why don't you just go see the damn doctor?"
Mm, that's it. That's the statement that we start with the book, and that's the thing that unraveled your journey and caused you to make some decisions to get you to where you are today. But it was a long process.
Absolutely. Absolutely. It really was a long process because he passed away a year and a half before I was diagnosed.
Okay.
And so I was still raveling and trying to come out of this darkness that I was in, just kind of floating in air over just his loss, him going to be with the Lord. And so, with that, and then being told I have X amount of time, which it'll tell you in the book,
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
have X amount of time to live. That was a lot to swallow.
Yeah.
It was a lot to swallow. And you feel like you're just all alone in this process. Like, okay, God, you don't love me no more?
Mm-hmm.
You don't love me no more? Is that what it is? Is that what we're doing now?
Or hey, am I being punished for
Am I being
something?
punished for something? Oh my gosh, every negative emotion that you could ever ponder on went through my head.
Mm-hmm.
And it created many other negative reactions that we absolutely want to avoid. I wouldn't wish what I experienced on my worst enemy.
Right.
No, I know that there are so many people out here, men and women, who are experiencing these same type of emotions, same type of, just all types. And we don't know which way to go. We don't know how to get there and how to get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We don't know how to get out of it. Um, I've seen other people that I can think of now in retrospect that were completely lost.
Mm-hmm.
Some of them are not here. Some of them are still struggling, you
Yeah.
know. And this is real because I actually got the question just this morning, um, as I showed them a poem that I wrote. And this person said to me, "Did you just make that up or is that for real?" And I responded back to him, I can't even make that up. I couldn't. I'm a writer and
Yeah.
I couldn't make this story up. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm.
there's a lot of people out there that are struggling. I mean, people are still struggling even with COVID. And it's not to say that it couldn't come back, but we're past that point and we're moving on to the next. And people are
Yeah.
still struggling with the COVID, you
Yeah.
know.
Take us back to when you started your journey as a writer. How young were you when you knew you had a gift of writing?
The smile on my face. As a little girl, I think I started writing probably at about maybe 10. And my favorite author during that time was Phyllis Wheatley. I loved that lady. I loved her writing, her poetry, everything about her. And I wanted to be her, and I really didn't understand all of what she was writing about until later, of course. But I just loved the way she wrote. So I started writing about 10, and I was just writing little poems, and I would write songs. I would make up songs and, different things like that. But I journaled. I remember journaling so much because there was so much going on throughout my life.
There we go. Let's dig
Time
into
period.
that. Let's
There
dig
was
into
so
that
much,
because, like I said, people looking at you now, they're like, "Oh, she's always been successful."
Yeah. Yeah, I've been successful because God has brought me out of every single unsuccessful thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
But yeah, there was drugs in my household. There was extreme verbal abuse, extreme verbal abuse. Poverty. I lived in the projects in California, and some people might say, "Oh, those were the projects." Yep, they were the projects. We had a gate. We had to push a button to get in. We had to push a button to get out. That's the projects. So I grew up in the projects. I went to an all-white elementary school, a middle school, and a high school. And I was bused across town to get to that school. So that was kind of humiliating on a lot of levels because I was the first group of kids to be bused across town to this area, city of Lakewood. So that was a struggle, being, you know, short, black, chunky, you know, puberty, bumps all over my face, you know, kinky, beautiful hair, which I didn't know at that time was beautiful. Just all those negatives that the world put on me, and of course, you know, you have colorism within your own family structure. So there was a lot. You know, I wasn't raised by my biological father. So that was
Oh.
a faux pas because, you know, aspect,
Mm-hmm.
that missing aspect, is so important. And, you know, so there were issues with that, you know. Um, yeah, I was sexually assaulted twice in my lifetime. Um, yeah. So, you know, there were a lot of things along the way. A lot of things along. I mean, the list could go on and on and on.
Mm-hmm.
But every event that I look at the positive outcome in it, because for everything that has ever happened to me, there's always been a lesson. There's always been a lesson. So even with writing this book, this is a lesson for me.
Yeah.
This is an absolute lesson. Like, you know, I just it's just amazing how I'm watching the process once again, because when I went through my cancer, 5 years of it, there was definitely a process, because I went for 2 years being unable to walk. I was swelled up. I couldn't function. I was depressed. And when someone came and pulled me out of my home, the world opened up for me. I
Now,
went on stage.
were you able to, let's go back quick to your childhood. Were you healthy? What was your health like as a kid?
I don't think I was. I don't think I was. I mean, I ate like the average kid in a impoverished situation, but I absolutely was overweight. And um that was another negative in our family realm, in my family structure realm, because everyone else was light skinned and thin and athletic,
Okay.
and I wasn't. I wasn't thin, I wasn't athletic, and I'm chocolate.
Okay.
So yeah, that was definitely an issue for me personally. And it could have been a setback. It could have
Mm.
been a setback. Um, it could have been, and it probably was at one point. At one point in my life, it absolutely was. So with everything that's happening now in my life, I look back to those things and I say that was what made me stronger.
There you go.
That motivated me.
Uh,
It encouraged me to want to be better, to begin to love myself and like myself. To be able to look at every part of my body and be pleased with it. To
yeah.
be, there may be some improvements could that could be done and should be probably done, but I'm not unhappy or unsatisfied with what I see right now. And I was at that time in my life. Absolutely. Absolutely.
And
Because I
this is
believed,
important. This
yeah,
is
I believed
important
what
for
the world
people.
told me. I believed
Yeah.
what the world told me. I believed what those people that were in my circle, what they told me. I believed when they said, "You too dark to wear bright colors." This yellow behind me and this pink behind me, I was never allowed to wear those
Okay.
colors ever. You should always wear blacks, browns, dark red. Don't wear red. Blacks, dark, browns, greens, because
Wow.
those colors won't make you stand out, right? I was
Mm.
told I was a debutante, and I wasn't a debutante because I was so beautiful and all that. I was a debutante because it made someone else look good. Okay. So that's how I got involved as to be a debutante. But I was also told that I wish that you all didn't have to wear white dresses because the white makes you stand out.
Wow.
Right. So, yeah, colorism, yeah, image
Mm.
shaming, absolutely. Um Financial, you know, poverty,
Yeah. I
you know.
wanted you to talk about that because there's some young girls right now in their teens, in their 20s, in their 30s, in their 40s even, that are still struggling through what you went through. And
Absolutely.
now I'm saying they're looking at you now and they're like, wow, she's got everything put together. She's an author, she's a teacher, she's an entertainer. She's got this beautiful background here. You know, she's got her book done. She just got it all together. But I need them to think about what it is that it takes to become healed and whole and happy and excited and accepting of yourself. That is a process.
It's a process.
That is not something that people are just born doing. Like, we don't
Absolutely.
know what to do. So tell us about journaling for you as an adult.
Journaling for me has been a blessing because it reminds me of where I was and where I am now in every step, like chapters. Like I always say, like, this is chapter 3 of my life. This is chapter 3 of my life because I've had, a few chapters. This is chapter 3. Okay. And the journaling, man, I go back. I have books and books and books. I have video footage
Wow.
of me talking about an experience at the moment that it's happening. And I know it's God doing this because I can't think of this stuff.
Yeah.
You know, I just don't think that I am that smart without him. So I video journal and I go back now even and say, look at you, God. Look what you brought me through.
Wow.
Look at where I was. Literally this past week, I looked at a video. During the time when a little bit after or probably during, during the time that I was working on my second play. I was working with an acting company, and we did a play called The Colored Museum, written by August Wilson. Wow. And I played the character. It was called The Woman. Simple. And it was about a woman. And the reason that the director had me do this, he told me after we did the first show, he said, the reason why I chose you to do this character is because this is your life. And it was basically about a woman who was bald and she had a towel over her head and she had a wig on this side, the left side of her, and a wig on the right side of her. And the wig on the right side had straight hair. The wig on the left side had an afro. The wigs came to life. And this woman was freaking out. She was crying and she was just looking at herself in the mirror and she was just feeling so low on so many levels because she was indecisive about her life. And the wigs began to speak to her, right? And one wig was telling her, well, no, you should choose me because whatever. And the other wig was saying, you should choose me because I'm better, whatever. Now, they represented life in different manners. Straight, afro. I think we can kind of get the idea of that part right there because this is societal, right? And the woman thought she was losing her mind, which I absolutely am many times going through different events in my life have thought I was going to lose my mind. Mm-hmm. I have been suicidal, and so from that character, portraying that character, it brought out so much in me. And it really opened my eyes to the importance of knowing who I am. And if I don't know at that time that I'm going through that experience, I need to figure it out. And quickly, right? Because I could die.
Yeah.
And I died on the table. I had experienced that prior to even getting on stage.
Wow.
I experienced that. You know, I died for 3 minutes. I coded. And when I came back, I saw something different. And I've been changed ever since. And
Wow.
so I always say too, the old Estelle is no longer here. She did die. The new Estelle, I could cry right now because I
Yeah.
I remember that. I remember that so clearly. And so I can imagine how so many people are experiencing these different things going through them and they just don't know. They don't have a clue on where to start. Cause I didn't.
Mm. What year was
I
that?
The year that I did the play that we did that play, I think was
Mm-mm.
2019.
No, when
I
you
was
died.
diagnosed. Oh, 2016.
Wow. So there's you
2016.
before and there's you after.
Yeah. Yeah. I went into emergency. I was rushed into emergency because I was not good. It was a bad scene. And I had lost so much blood. They had to put 7 to 8 bags of blood back in my system, just to bring me back. And I remember seeing a few things, but I
Mm.
remember the light. That was the last thing that I saw. I remember the light. And I knew that things had to change. And my husband, who will soon be my ex-husband, he kept saying to me, he would always say, and this happened like right after I started treatment, he would always say, "You changed. You changed. You changed."
Mm.
And I would get irritated at first with him because I was like, why do you keep saying that to me? But then as
Mm.
time progressed on, I would respond back to him, "You're right. I have changed.
Was it for the better?
It was for the better because I was feeling the change. I was seeing the change. I was feeling I was somebody different. I was somebody new. I felt like I was reborn, you know? And I did change. The old Estelle is gone. And
Yeah.
she was not a bad person now. She was the bomb. But this one is better.
Wow.
This one is better. This
Whew.
one is better.
I'm
This
glad. So let's fast forward to let's talk about today. But before we talk about today and the event that you have going on this month, let's talk about your journey with writing books because you've written other books, you've had other books out, you've done plays, you've been an entertainer, you're a singer, amazing singer on stage.
Thank
So
you.
let's talk about this current book and how did you give birth to this book and why is it different from the other books before?
Yeah, and that's true. It really is different. Well, I guess not really, sort of kind of. Because I have another manuscript and it's about my life, but it's a multitude of people in my life as well. And it's called The Chronicles of My Life. And so with that book, the characters are all fictitious. They're all, it's not a self-help book. It's very characteristic. It's very animated. It's very, So from that book, I feel that parts of this was pulled out because I had to learn how to break down my characters. And actually, I had to learn how to be okay and comfortable with revealing myself.
Mm.
Uh, at no point did I have any idea on talking about this journey, honestly. But there were some things that I wanted to say. There were some things that I wanted to share from my experience. Um, a friend of mine who's no longer here, Lisa, she was amazing. She was my co partner in a poem that we wrote. Um, and she passed away probably about a week and a half after we performed the poem. Yeah.
Wow.
She passed away from cancer.
Wow.
And she called me the day before and she said, I'm tired.
Mm.
So the poem is called I Don't Look Like What I've Been Through.
Ooh, ain't
And
that
so
what we've been talking about?
exactly, exactly. So she gave her point of view and I gave mine, but we were in conversation. So she would say something and I would say it, parallel to her. And we would go back and forth and then we would break through the poem and say, I don't look like what I've been through. So it was amazing. But from that, um, I believe that was parts of what this book is about too, because I never wanted to write a woe is me book like, oh, feel sorry for me. Oh, I never wanted to write anything like that because that's not the person I am. I always look for the bright spot in a bad situation because for me, that's the way I get out of the situation is to find that bright spot. So in writing this, the questions were asked to me by my amazing coach. Well, what is the message that you want to
Yeah.
express? What do you want your reader to get from this? I
Mhm.
said to her, I want them to know that there is a light at the end of the tunnel.
Amen.
There's a light. There's a
Mm.
light. That's why the cover of my book has bright pinks, bright yellows,
Yeah.
beautiful lavender. Those make me happy and they're bright and you can see straight through them, right?
Mm.
You can see straight through those colors. There's a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't care how dark it looks. I don't how I don't care how scary it is. I don't care how difficult the task is to get through the process. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. And so that's the message that I want to pass on to my reader. I want to know, yes, I went through hell,
Mm.
and I looked like hell. I looked like death. My skin was green.
And that's
You
that's
know,
part of your book as well, right? You share some graphic images of
absolutely.
what you look like. So for those of you out there that are listening to this right now, you definitely need to get a copy of Estelle's book because she has a lot of really personal graphic photos of her when she was going through her cancer treatment, when she was going through the recovery. She's very open, honest, and transparent about everything that has happened in her life because she understands that
Yeah.
this could save somebody else's life as
Yeah.
well. So
Yeah.
tell them about your writing process because when we first met through the amazing Kelvin Bell,
Right.
aka KB,
Right.
you weren't ready. Tell everybody why you were not ready at that point when we first met.
I wasn't ready because I was still going through. I was
Mm.
still going through. When I connected with you, I had just relocated from another state and I was at the end part of my treatment. My body internally was healing well, but externally I was in I was in destitute, It was breaking down because of the weather conditions that I was coming from. And I was still depressed. I mean, I had
Yeah.
gone I was well, yeah. I had gone into a depression again. And that was because when we moved out here, we came out here through COVID, the end of COVID. And we were looking for a place to live. And we had some things we thought in motion, but they weren't. And so we ended up living in homelessness. We were homeless. My entire family, my, my entire family, we were homeless. And it was hard. It was really, really hard. And Kelvin introduced me to you. And I had all these writings. I had pieces everywhere, like
Yeah.
everywhere. I probably like I had no, I did. I remember the box so clearly. I had a full box of writings, notes, letters to God, um, memories of things that I was experiencing at the times that I was experiencing. I think I even had a CD, two CDs of some videos that I made. I still
Wow.
have them. I still have them in my storage. So I had all this stuff and I was like, oh yeah, I'm ready. I'm ready. And at that time I was like, in my mind, I wasn't thinking clearly either, because I was thinking, how can I make money so we can get out of this hotel?
Okay, so that, yeah,
Hotel.
you had some immediate priorities to
I
take
had
care
some
of at that
immediate
point.
priorities that I
Okay,
was thinking about. That's
and
all I
I
could focus on.
yeah, I didn't know any of that. I knew
Of
we had an
course. Of
amazing
course.
conversation. I knew that you were a prolific writer just by the conversation that we had. I knew that you probably already had a journaling routine. So you were ready in the mind, but the circumstances didn't line up. Okay, so
Oh my
what
God, no.
happened this year? Tell us what happened this year, 2024.
So 2024, life still goes on. Things happen. My husband last year became paraplegic, and so we were going through all of that and everything. But I had to make a decision because, you know, after cancer, I had a stroke. I was homeless. This and that and this and that. Is how many more things is it going to be before I decide to take care of me
Uh-oh.
fully, take
Uh-oh.
care of me, focus on me? And the Holy Spirit was so clear to me.
Speak, preach.
He was so clear to me. Latasha Jimerson. He was so clear to me. It's time for you. This is your time. Everything else is gonna be all right. I'm in charge of this, not you, Estelle. I'm gonna take care of all of your needs, but I need you to focus because you got to tell the story.
Uh-oh. And that's how, if we ended up communicating through a text. All I did was text just to see how she was doing. And all this rolled out. We got on a call and she was like, look, I'm ready. And I was like, oh, okay. I wasn't even expecting that answer. I was just checking in to see how you're doing.
Yeah.
And then Myrtle Beach, girl. Talk about Myrtle Beach.
I took a leap. I took a leap on a few things regarding this book. I took a leap on, hiring you. I took a leap on, taking this vacation, this this one was not a vacation. It was a work process. And I had to put my mindset in that place of work. I was going to do work. And then I had to be bold enough and assertive enough to tell my family, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this, and I'm doing this for me.
Now that was the challenge.
It really was a challenge because I got all this backlash. Well, what about this? And well, I have that. And what are you going to do with this? And well, how am I going to take care of this? And I'm like this and like no one was thinking about, well, hey, mom deserves it. Wife deserves it. Friend deserves this. She's done and been everything to everybody else. And she's gone through so much.
Yeah.
Why is it not okay for her to have this for her?
And why didn't you just continue to do the virtual meetings? Why did you choose to go to Myrtle Beach and do the week-long retreat instead of continuing to just do the virtual meetings?
Because something was pulling me. Like I couldn't put myself to say no. Like I could not, like something was literally levitating me toward that. Honestly, like every day it was bothering me when I would try to force myself to think about, well, I can't do it because of this. It was bothering me that I was doing that to myself.
Yeah.
It was bothering me so badly that I said, "Fluck it."
Yeah.
I said,
I'm doing it. I'm booking the flight. Done.
I just was like, I'm doing this. I'm doing it. I don't know where I'm gonna get the money from. Listen to her.
Yes.
I don't know where I'm gonna get the money from.
Yes.
But I'm gonna do this for me.
Yes.
At that point, I drowned out everybody. Like there were so many obstacles. There was so many obstacles that was trying to come in my way. And I kept saying, you can't hurt me, devil. You can't.
Yeah.
Get out of my face, Satan. Get out of my face. And every time those targets would come at me from every end, I'm not even just talking immediate family. I'm talking like outside family members. I'm talking like, oh my gosh, it was just crazy.
And then
Bill
you showed
collector.
up. Wait, you
Bill
showed up on day
collector.
one. You showed up on day one, and you already had the mindset. What did you have your mindset on? What were you there to do?
I was ready to work. I was ready to write. Because you had already given me kind of like a layout, and then you gave me the literature. So I was like, okay, boom, 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 boom.
Yes.
I was ready, and then you were like, whoa, wait a minute.
Yeah.
Let's pace ourselves.
You surprised me. I was like, okay, she's ready to get down to business. Let's
I
go. I was
ready.
like, are we going to do the beach, the pool? We're going to go this, do that. You were like, no, coach, I'm ready. I'm ready to just get this book out. And boom,
Because
5 days later.
I felt like in my mind, I felt like if I didn't do it right then and there, then it was not going to get done. Yeah. I really did. And then, but you had to slow me down a little bit. And then I remember what my directors, my casting directors, they would say to me all the time, get out of your head, Estelle.
Yes.
Get out of your head. You can do this, and you're going to do it. Get out of your head. And then I heard you say it in your way that you said. It was basically the same thing. Get out of your head. It's going to get done. And then my best friend, she always say, if it's for you, if it's meant for you, it's for you. So when I came in and, you kind of slowed me down a little bit and everything, all that started coming back to me. Chill out, Estelle. Just calm down. And then when we got the flow going, the flow was going. Yeah. And I was just so full. I was like, oh my God. I feel like I was birthing, like I was going into labor. I really did. Honestly did. I feel like I was going into labor. Like, oh my God. Oh my God. Yeah. I was so full.
So now you got to anticipate what people are going to ask now. So, okay, she went to the retreat. She got the book done. What about sales?
Okay, so once again in my mind, I was thinking, who's going to buy my book?
Yep.
That was the first thing that went to my mind. Who's going to buy my book? How am I going to get it out there? I didn't put it on Amazon. So how am I going to sell a book if it's not on Amazon? Ooh. All these doubting questions came in my mind, honestly. And I was really scared to ask you. Yeah. Because I allowed myself to become intimidated. But you gave me the answers anyway. Like, you gave me the answers. Like, and you were very patient with me. Like, it's almost like you knew that I had those questions. And so you came with them, and then I asked them and she was like, I knew you were going to ask it. That's why I told you back then, blah, 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 and that was really special for me because I expressed to you that I've always had to be in charge of things. I always had to figure it out for others. I always had to navigate the situation. And so, but I would always use this term, oh, I'm coachable, but I wasn't really. I wasn't really, because I didn't know truly how to follow instructions step by step by step. I know how to write them. I know how to navigate them. I know that part, but I didn't know how to follow them. And so that was a really important process for me. That was really important for me. And a really, really amazing lesson for me to learn how to, because I'm doing some things right now in my life where I have to follow the instructions step by step. Okay, well, Don't go over. Do this first.
Mhm.
Don't jump the gun. Do this first.
Right.
And then do this. And then do this.
Yeah.
I'm a teacher. I was a school teacher just like you and
Yeah.
probably many of these people. So we are the teachers and we are accustomed to running the show, building the curriculum and all those other things. But when it comes to following the instruction, it's a little difficult.
Yeah. Who
So
who
it's a
was
little
your
difficult.
first who was your first sale? How did you make your first sale? Because you started making sales like on day 6 or 7. At right
Yeah,
immediately.
yeah, that was a blessing. I was like, whoa. So my first sale, shoot, I'm so sorry for all the people
No,
that
it's
bought my.
okay.
I don't. No, I'm apologizing to the people that purchased my book. I don't remember the first sale, and I should. So I promise I'll go back so I can make sure to
Mhm.
address that person because I appreciate you. I appreciate you. I appreciate all of you guys. Um, but I don't remember. But I remember the first day we put it out. Like what, on a Tuesday,
Yeah, because the
and by
retreat
that
was
Wednesday,
over on Friday. We started on Monday.
right,
The retreat was over
right,
on
and then we started on
Friday.
Monday,
Uh-huh.
and then we came back, and then we had to do some final pieces, and so we didn't really like put it out there till like that following Monday, right? Yeah, that following Monday or Tuesday, and so the next day, I got like I think 5 sales, 4 or 5 sales,
So
and
that was
then
within, hold up, wait a minute. Let me put some truth in it. Because people
right,
people are struggling. They're out here like, okay, I got my book, it's on Amazon, da, 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 da. How do I make sales? And I give them the steps and the instructions and coach
yeah,
them
yeah,
through
yeah,
it. But let
yes,
me just tell you, you were very coachable, very teachable, listened to instructions, followed and did what I said, and you got the result. Many, many, many authors, listen to me, authors that are watching this.
yes,
Estelle followed the steps. She followed the process. She did exactly what she was supposed to do. And now she has a whole workshop scheduled for the end of this month. She already has like 15 people signed up for the workshop. The majority of those people have already purchased her book. So they're going to
yes,
show up ready to have a discussion of value. And then guess what? There's more people that are going to be coming and buying her
yeah.
book. So she is on fire right now with her sales, and y'all need to you need to connect with Estelle.
Whew. I wish you would. I really, really wish you all would because I love to talk about this whole process. I love to talk about this whole process because I'm watching my own self. I look at as I do my posts and as I watch my videos and even in my presentations and stuff. I remember the beginning process and I remember what I looked like, how I spoke, what I talked about. Oh my gosh, I remember all of that and I can still go back and reflect. Like I can go back and look and read and I'm like, "Whoa, what a
Yes.
transformation. What a
Yes.
transformation." I mean, I smile more now than I have honestly, guys, honestly within the last 5 years. I haven't smiled like this. I haven't laughed like this in a long time. And I know that there is so much credit given to this little book.
Yes.
I know there's so much credit given. I know it is because, man, I can tell you, I can show you more than I can tell you. I can
Pick I
show
want you to
you
pick
better than I can tell you.
I want you to pick one quote from the book to read to close us out because we're almost out of time. So
All
go
right.
flip through and look at the best quote in the book. I want you to read it out loud. And for those of y'all that are coming to her workshop at the end of this month, you are going to hear her read more from the book. We're going to do a quick little read aloud so you guys can sit on the carpet, crisscross applesauce like back in kindergarten, right? We're going to do a little bit of that because we're both
Yes,
teachers. So that's what we do. And
that's what we do.
for those of y'all that have not purchased the book, she is going to drop the link. I'm going to make sure that that link is available in the show notes underneath this podcast episode so that y'all can get the book before you come. So you'll be able to read it and you know exactly what it's going to be about before you even get into the room. So, all right, you got the last word.
It's so important for you to purchase it because we are definitely going to do some work in the workbook. So please do. You can't do nothing without the book. So it's a quote, but it's more of a question. And it basically says, did you know that studies show that individuals who have experienced severe adversity are more likely to develop high levels of resilience, allowing them to bounce back and even thrive in the face of challenges?
That's it.
I call myself resilient every single day. Every day, because I'm the bounce back kid. I am the bounce back kid. So just hold on to that. There is a light at the end of the tunnel. I don't care what it looks like. Loss, anything, everything. God is not going to put on us more than we can bear. He's not going to put on us more than he's not going to give us something that we're not built for. If you're going through it, you're experiencing it, you are built for it. And you're going to come out of it pure as gold.
Amen. That's it, y'all.
Yeah.
Go. You got to follow Estelle. You got to sign up for her workshop. Get the book before you sign up for the workshop. Make sure you read it. Go through it. Like she said, there's work. There's a workbook. There's stuff for you to answer and reflect on. And when you come into the room, you will be prepared for this conversation. It's a very important and meaningful conversation. And that's it. That is it. We are done, y'all. I know that this is longer than we said. We said 20 minutes, but you know we long-winded, so we're almost up to an hour. But that's okay. That's okay. Y'all know you got a picture of what you need to be signing up for and how you're going to experience Estelle. And she's going to dig deeper into her story and how she got through that cancer situation, how she got through her stroke and is still persevering and being resilient today. So thank you guys for tuning in. I appreciate you. Thank you for just coming to the Successful Author Series and being supportive of this podcast. I appreciate you, every single one of you. Yeah. And you have a beautiful, blessed afternoon. And I'll see you at Estelle's event. Bye. Oh, wait, Estelle, hold up. You want to give the day and the time of the event before we go?
Okay. So this is exciting because the day of the event is actually my birthday.
Ooh,
it's my birthday party.
It's your birthday.
I will be 57, and I am so excited about turning 57. So it is my birthday. It is my launch, and it is a workshop. So I'm excited.
So September 28th, what time?
At 10 a.m. I'm going to say Pacific time. Yeah, Pacific time. Eastern time, what is that, 3 hours ahead?
Yes.
So 10, 12, something like that. Yeah. So 10 a.m. Pacific time.
Beautiful. All right, ma'am. We'll see you at the workshop.
Thank you. God bless you all.
You're welcome. And I'm going to go ahead and there we go. I'm going to end the recording. All right, y'all. Have a good day.